Hi everyone, I am Dave Cupper, and last time I've already discussed or started our discussion about the characteristics of culture, and I've already discussed 9 of it, and now let's continue. Let's start with culture is integrated. Culture is integrated. All parts of cultures are connected. They work together to create a cohesive and meaningful way of life. For example, in many cultures, food, clothing, arts, and rituals are all interconnected and reflect shared beliefs and values like food in Filipino culture. Spain culture also have. And now let's proceed to culture is dynamic. Cultures interact and change. Different cultures influence each other and they also change over time in response to new challenges and opportunities. For example, globalization has led to increased and cultural exchange and the merging of different cultural influences. Now we have culture is transmissive. Culture is transmissive. Culture is passed down through generations. It is a continuous process of learning and sharing. For example of this is grandparents teach their grandchildren about their family history, traditions, and values, ensuring that the culture is passed down on the or onto the next generation. For example of this is the pagmamano, which is or a practice that has been passed down through generations. It started with our mga ninuno that we are still practicing today. And now we have culture varies from society to society. Every society has its own unique culture. Culture are not the same everywhere. They reflect the history, geography, and experiences of different groups of people. Example of this is Filipino culture is distinct from Japanese culture, which is distinct from American culture. Basically, it means that every society has its own culture and that culture is different from another society or another culture. Now, last one we have culture is gratifying. Culture provides meaning and purpose. It helps us to satisfy our needs and desires, both basic and social. It gives us a sense of belonging and identity. Um, who we are. It answers the question who we are. Our culture helps us understand who we are and where we came from. And it also answers the question what we believe in. It gives us values and beliefs that guide our actions. And also it influences how we connect. It helps us understand how to interact with others and build relationships. And that's all about the characteristics of culture. And now let's remember that these characteristics helps us to understand that culture is a complex and fascinating phenomenon or a thing that shapes our lives and that our world around us. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Evelyn Perales, the reporter of Elements of Culture. Now let's define the culture. Culture is transmitted to employees in many ways. The most significant are stories, rituals, material symbols, and language. Society's culture also comprises the shared values, understanding, assumptions, and goals that are learned from earlier generations, imposed by present members of societies, and passed on to succeeding generations. It means that society's culture is a dynamic system, constantly evolving through the interplay of past, present, and future generations. Proceed to the some elements of culture. It is about which the managers of international operations should be aware of. The first one is language. The language is the spoken and written language used in a culture including dialects and accent. Language encompassing both spoken and written forms, including dialects and accents. It serves as a vital tool for communication and cultural expression. The next one is the jargons and metaphors. It is specialized vocabulary and figurative language used within a particular group or professions. It is a specialized form of language often used within specific groups to convey meaning efficiently and sometimes humorously. Example is Kiribos in Tagalog, kuha mo ba? In English, got it? Tsaka, in Tagalog, hindi maganda. in English, not pretty. Ermat, in Tagalog, ina. In English, mother. Erpat, in Tagalog, ama. In English, father. Now, let's proceed to the stories, myths, and legends. It narratives that convey cultural values, history, and beliefs. It means that it passed down through generations, serves as a powerful vehicles for transmitting cultural values, history, and beliefs. The myths, example given is Raja Sulaiman, Dayang Kalangitan, and Gat Tanil. It embodies cultural beliefs, often explaining natural phenomena or reflecting societal values. The next one is legends. The legend of Sarimanok and the legend of Ibong Adarna, such as the tales of Sarimanok and Ibong Adarna, are often rooted in folklores and history, blending fact and fantasy to entertain and to teach. The next one is symbol. It is the objects, colors, or images that carry meaning within a culture. Example given is Philippine flag. Symbols like the Philippine flag hold significance within a culture. We all know that, representing ideas, values, or beliefs that transcend literal meaning. The next one is rituals. It is repeated practices or ceremonies that hold significance within a culture. Example given is Simbang Gabi, Flores de Mayo, Kadayawan, and Pamahiin. It is repeated practices that hold cultural significance, often marking important events or expressing beliefs. The next one is costume and manners. It is expected behavior and etiquette in social interactions. Example is respecting for others, pakikisama, and delikadisa. The other one is material culture. It is the physical objects that reflect a culture's values and beliefs, such as art, architecture, or clothing. Example given is wood carving, weaving, pottery, tapis, barong Tagalog, bahay kubo, tricycles, jeepneys. It is encompass objects like this. Even transportation like tricycles and jeepneys reveals a culture's values, skills, and aesthetic preferences. The other one is physical artifacts. It is tangible objects that hold cultural significance such as monuments, artifacts, or heirlooms. Example is jeepney art, bamboo crafts, and jade ornaments, and manonggal jar. Physical artifacts like this are tangible objects that represent a culture's history, beliefs, and artistry. The other one is values. It is fundamental beliefs and principles that guide behavior and decision making within a culture. Example given is family orientation, respect for others, hospitality, strong sense of personality, and many more. Values such as family orientation, respect for others, hospitality, and strong sense of personality are fundamental beliefs that guide behavior of individual and shape a culture's identity. The next one is attitude, prevailing emotional tone or disposition of culture towards certain issues or topics. Example is bahala na, hiya, sariling sikap, kapal na muka, tiwala, pagmamano, at iba pa. Attitude reflected in concept like this reveals a culture's prevailing emotional tone and approach to various situations. The next one is norms. It is unwritten rules or expectations that govern behavior within a culture. Example given is use of formal titles, dress modestly, remove shoes when entering homes. The last one is education. The transmission of cultural knowledge, values, and skills from one generation to the next generation. Education encompassing formal schooling and informal learning serves as the process for transmitting cultural knowledge, values, and skills across generations. It's essential for managers of international operation to be aware of these elements to effectively communicate, navigate cultural differences, and build strong relationships with employees and stakeholders from diverse cultural backgrounds. That would be all. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Miguel Lorenzo Cobero and I will be discussing the functions of culture. Now we will review the functions that culture performs and assess whether culture can be a liability for an organization. Culture performs some functions within an organization. Now, the function of culture refers to essential rules it plays in the lives of individuals and society Culture serves as a framework that shapes behavior, values, and social system. Now first, let's discuss the boundary defining rule. So it creates a distinction between one organization and another, meaning defining boundaries, it differentiates one organization from another. For example, Ani is in the Philippines, each company or organization has a unique values in practice. For instance, para sa mga call center or mga BPO industry, companies may emphasize a global perspective and adaptability, while local manufacturers companies might prioritize tradition, Filipino values, and creating clear distinction between sectors. So culture gives an individual a sense of who they are. It provides a shared identity through language, traditions, costumes, and values that define a particular group. People find belonging in the cultural group, which shapes their worldwide and self-perception. Now, the second is to convey a sense of identity. So sense of identity, it creates and give a members a sense of belonging. So for example, ani is kanang Filipino companies like mga Jollibee. So it helps, it fosters a strong brand identity rooted in the Filipino pride and values, which give employees a sense of belonging to a brand that celebrates Filipino culture. This sense of identity strengthens their connections to the company. So meaning, culture acts as a glue that binds people together through shared beliefs, practices, and traditions. This sense of unity fosters cooperation and collective well-being, helping communities function smoothly and maintain stability. So the third is the culture facilitates the generation of commitment to something larger than one's individual self-interest. So commitment no beyond self-interest. So the concept of pakikisama, smooth interpersonal relationship in Filipino encourage individual to prioritize the group needs in Filipino organizations. Employees often work overtime to help colleges without expecting personal gain to show solidarity to support of the team or the support for that team. So concept of pakikisama no, morag nag-help you give your help without expecting in return. So the fourth is enhance the stability of the social system. Culture is the social glue that helps hold the organization together by providing appropriate standard for what employees should say and do. So the Philippine organization have a hierarchical structures where respect for authority or meaning from utang na loob or gratitude. So this social structure promotes stability and help employees understand their rules and responsibility within the organization. So finally, culture serves as a sense of making and control mechanism that guides and shapes employees' attitude and behavior. So Filipino companies often emphasizes respect and politeness and communication by using po and upo when addressing elders or superiors. So this guides employees on appropriate behavior, shaping interaction and promoting a harmonious workplace culture. So this culture values creates a cohesion and shape attitude within Filipino workplace, making culture an integral part of the organization functioning. So in conclusion, culture is the foundation that supports the social, economic, and psychological development of individuals and societies. It helps create a meaning structure and continuity across generations.
Good day, everyone. I am Rosalie Buradon, the next reporter of this group. So, my topic is all about cultural transmission. So, when you say cultural, it is a culture. When we say transmission, it is the action or process of transmitting something or the state of being transmitted. Cultural transmission is a transmission of preference, beliefs, and norms of behavior, which is the result of social interaction of social interaction across and within generations. Cultural transmission is the passing down of preferences, beliefs, and norms of behavior from one generation to the next. And cultural transmission is a key concept in sociology and anthropology as it explains how cultures are created, maintained, and changed over time. And cultural transmission is an object of study of several social sciences, evolutionary anthropology, sociology, social psychology, economics, as well as evolutionary biology. Cultural transmission is a complex process that involves many different factors, including social interactions, learning, and the transmission of information, values, beliefs, and practices. Each of these social sciences offers a unique perspective of cultural transmission. The next slide. Education serves as transmitter for transmitting knowledge, skills, and social moral rules of the culture which may help the individual about something or his or her culture. Why? Education provides a structured environment for the deliberate passing of knowledge, skills, and values, unlike informal learning, which is often spontaneous and innocent and inconsistent. Education offers a curated curriculum design to convey essential cultural elements. Education provides a common ground for individuals within a culture, shared experiences with the classrooms, textbook, books, and assignments create a sense of collective understanding and belonging. Education helps individuals understand and adapt to cultural changes by learning about history, critical thinking, and problem solving. Individuals are better equipped to navigate constantly evolving world. In essence, education acts a bridge between generations, ensuring that cultural knowledge, skills, and values are passed on effectively. And so this process is vital for the community and development of any society. So next, traditional educators believe that their primary task is the transmission of the present generation of bodies of information and of rules, values collected in the past. They believe that educators is the direct instruction of such information or rules. So in this passage describes a traditional view of education where educators see their primary role as transmitting knowledge, rules, and values from the past to the present generation. Traditional educators believe that their job is to direct instruct students information and rules that have been passed down through generations kanang kung unsa ang ilahang naibalaan ilaha pong i-transfer sa estudyante. So ang tawag ana nga learning is the passing. So kung unsa ang ilahang, for example sa discussion, kung unsa ang ilahang nasabtan or unsay pasabot ana nga discussion diha nga adlaw ilaha nang i transfer sa mga estudyante. This passage also reflects a traditional content focused approach to education where the emphasis is to transmitting established knowledge and values. So this perspective contrasts with more modern approaches that emphasizes critical thinking, creativity, and problem solving. So there are positive and negative effect of cultural transmission. So first one is the positive effect. So there are four positive effect. So number one is the awareness of interethnic code differences. So this sentence means the becoming conscious of the different ways people from various ethnic backgrounds communicate and interact. So it involves understanding that different cultures have distinct social norms, costumes, and a way of expressing themselves. So this awareness helps bridge cultural gaps and fosters understanding. Number two is the avoidance of ascribing negative to differences. So this statement emphasizes the importance of not automatically associating negative qualities with cultural differences. It encourages people to recognize that differences are not inherently bad and that judging others based on their ethnicity or cultural can be harmful. So the third one is individuals become familiar about his cultural background he or she have. So this passage highlights the positive impact of cultural transmission in helping individuals develop a strong sense of their cultural identity. So it emphasizes the importance of understanding one's own heritage, traditions, and values, which contributes to personal growth and self-awareness. Number four is he or she are educated on how to respect the knowledge and rules of other culture. So, para pod ma-appreciate nila ang culture sa ubang estudyante. So, dapat gina-emphasize na siya sa mga estudyante or ginatudlo sad about sa culture and knowledge sa uban on how they respect and on how they understand the cultural of others. So the next one is the negative effect of cultural transmission. So there are two. The first one is there are some individuals degrade other beliefs of other culture. So this statement highlights the potential negative negative outcome where a cultural transmission can be lead to prejudice and discrimination when individuals are exposed to different beliefs and values, so they may not always understand or appreciate them, so leading to negative judgment and the degradation of other culture. So especially for those people that uneducated about the other culture. So kung unsa ang ilahang makit-an, ilahan na dayong i-underestimate or ibaba ang culture sa uban. So which is ang uban wala sila kabalo kung unsa ang ilahang ginadak-an. Nganong ilahan man ang ginabuhat taga adlaw. So wala sila kabalo nga kanadi ay part siya sa ilahang kultura. So which ang uban kay wala man sila kabalo, mo underestimate or mo baba dayon sa culture sa uban. So dapat dili dayon mag-judge into negative without knowing sa other culture. So ano sa nato ato asang i-know or ibalhan kung unsa ang kultura. So mag-reflect man ang kultura sa ginabuhat sa uban. The next is the pariah group. When you say pariah group is a group or organization that is ostracized, shunned, or rejected by the society. They are often seen as undesirable and unacceptable or even dangerous by the mainstream population. So, example, hate groups, criminal organization involved in authentical practices or katong grupo sa mga nag-gangs, nag-drugs. So, ma or grupo sila nga kanang against sa society or gina-reject sa society kay mga illegal ang ilahang ginabuhat, like organizations with controversial beliefs kanang gina-reject sila sa society kay tungod sa ilahang negative nga ginabuhat or illegal. So there are some characteristic of pariah group as seen by the host groups. So first is disadvantage. The second, inferior, deprived environments, inadequate behavior, learning disabled, and hostile. So there are also the types of area groups. The first one is US and African and Native and Hispanic peoples. The second is Japan, Koreans and Burakamin. The third is the Northern Island Catholics. And then number 4 is the India, the outcast. And the 5, Israel, and Oriental Jews. So that is the conclude of my report. So thank you and God bless.